There's something really interesting with this character that I find fascinating, which is that he genuinely really does just want to do the right thing. But everywhere he goes, whether it's a new town or a new bar, people just kind of give him a hard time and they rag on him despite the fact that he has great intentions. I'm curious if that's comparable to this sort of world, this culture of toxic fandom, where like if you make a movie, especially if you make a superhero movie, like you have great intentions, but there are always going to be a small yet vocal group of people there can kind of just be toxic.
I understand what you're saying, but when it comes to fans, it is a fan's right to have whatever opinion they want to have. And people are going to be upset because, especially when you're talking about books or games, because you're never going to be the exact person who they had in their head or who they played on Witcher 3, for example. I don't necessarily consider that toxic. I just consider that passionate.
So no, apparently there's this thing called toxic fandom. This thing they have been calling fans for the better part of 10 years. And it is ruining everything. Apparently, the fans just loving a franchise isn't enough anymore. Now we're the problem because we actually care about these franchises. Yes, folks, caring about the canon and daring to express a little dissatisfaction has become a new evil, has become the new evil.
Our Star Wars show has been canceled. And I'm gonna be transparent and say that it's not a huge shock for me. Of course, I live in the bubble of my own reality, but for those who aren't aware, there has been a rampage of vitriol that we have faced. That's when we started experiencing a rampage of, I would say, hyper-conservative bigotry and vitriol.
The Acolyte, canceled after just one whole teeny tiny $230-ish million season. But no, it wasn't because of the bad storytelling or the giant DEI plot holes that you could fly the Millennium Falcon through. It was, of course, the toxic fandom. How dare we, the audience, express that we don't like Disney's latest stab at Star Wars? How dare we, the audience, express that we don't like our stories being told through the lens of DEI? We would rather them be just told faithfully to the world they're copying. Clearly, it is our fault for not embracing whatever crap they splash on the screen. And of course, the moment we fans dare say, hey, this is not what I signed up for, well, we are instantly labeled as hyper-conservative bigots, or better yet, vitriol, because clearly anyone not falling over themselves to love every bit of new content must be a raging bigot, right? And you know, the funny part, studios act like toxic fandom is this unstoppable juggernaut, but in reality, it's just a few dudes or dudettes with Twitter accounts, X accounts. And according to John Van Kitters from Star Trek, the so-called toxic fans make up a tiny, minuscule portion of any fandom, which is true, because they don't exist. But sure, let's all pretend these few passionate folks are bringing Hollywood to its knees. Yes, because while toxic fans do not exist, there are some people that are just plain assholes. That's not a fan, that's an asshole. Hollywood should learn the difference between the two, as well as music and game companies as well. But maybe it's not toxic fandom. Maybe it's toxic decisions brought on by the wonderful world of DEI. Ever think that, like, the genius idea to change a beloved franchise for absolutely no valid reason other than to make yourself feel better, studios should cater to the fans? But no, they cater to focus groups that tell them, if you don't do that, if you do this, the fans are not gonna like it. I wouldn't do that. No, they don't listen to that. They go straight into, well, I guess the fans are just gonna have to do what I say, and they expect us to turn around, give them money, and clap like baby seals. And then, obviously, when we don't clap our tiny little hearts out, and we don't do it hard enough and loud enough, we're considered part of the toxic mob. We are the toxic fans because we didn't like the bullshit they put in front of us. I'm sorry, but did we, the fans, did we force them to create these things? No. We just paid to see it. So it is our right to say we don't like it, and why we don't like it. Is DEI the only reason these things suck? No, it is not. There are a plethora of other reasons, such as lore breaking. That goes over really well with fans. Replacing characters, especially when they do a male to female swap in the replacement. Why? Was it necessary for your story? No, it was not. Fans don't like that. We have the images and ideas of these characters in our head by what is either on the page or whatever fandom area we are looking at. No, it's not like that is toxic. It's just us having an opinion. Oh yes, and let's not forget the brand new tactic, the social media boot camp. Yes, studios are now going to train their actors to handle fan toxicity, because the real danger isn't mismanaged franchise, lazy ass writing. No, it's fans with opinions. And when things get really tough, and I mean super duper tough for the actors and actresses that think that we're all toxic, when it gets so hard for them living in their $1 million homes, having people do everything for them, when it gets that bad, it gets really tough, studios can just take over the actors' social media accounts entirely, and they'll never have to deal with it ever again. Because they are leading toward a world where our actors actually need bodyguards for their social media accounts. For those dipshits, for those dumbasses that claim that we review bomb just for the hell of it, well, maybe, just maybe, the show or movie or game or whatever it be, maybe it just wasn't good. I know that's a very radical concept these days, but you put out bad content, the fans tell you it's bad. It kind of sounds like how the free market is supposed to work to me. It's called feedback from the free market, and it used to mean something. Even in Hollywood, it used to mean something, because if nobody's watching your shit, you're not making money. In the recent failures of things like The Acolyte and Star Wars Outlaws, to name a couple. So the next time you hear some studio executive, some writer for a crappy video game or TV series or movie, an actor or actress come out and say it's all the fault of the toxic fans, just remember, it's not the fans who are the problem. It's the people making the decisions. The people who forgot why these franchises are great in the first place. Or I should correct that and say why they were great in the first place. It's not the fans who ruin things. The fans are not toxic. As Henry Cavill said, they are simply passionate, and they have the right to be. Anyway, Do me the giant favor of liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting below, and I will see you, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, later on. Have yourselves a great, wonderful, and as always, prosperous day. Bye-bye.